weekend witnessed a flurry of significant political discourse as prominent figures shared critical viewpoints on issues and the current political climate. Our viewpoint analysis captures the very essence of these discussions as former Senate President David Mark offered a pointed assessment of the challenges facing northern Nigeria, squarely attributing its current predicaments to internal factors. Mark posited that the North is largely the architect of its own problems, a statement calling for introspection and internal solutions within the region. Also, in a desperate development, the presidency responded robustly to Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso's criticisms regarding the North's perceived marginalization. The presidency asserted that northern Nigeria is in fact benefiting substantially from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration, countering the claims of neglect and emphasizing ongoing development initiatives. On the opposition front, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, expressed confidence in its strategic position, according to the party's acting national chairman, Umar Damagun. The PDP remains unfazed by emerging political coalitions. Damagun stated that the party is well prepared and determined to challenge, ultimately, and unseat the current administration. These diverse perspectives highlight the dynamic and often contentious nature of Nigerian politics, setting the stage for continued debate. I'm your host, Odiawa AI, and this is Viewpoint. Join us shortly. You're welcome back to the show. Now, a thunderous declaration echoed through Abuja over the weekend as former Senate President and National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, Senator David Mark, delivered a snaring indictment that cuts through the very heart of northern Nigeria's enduring crisis. Now, speaking at a third plenary session of the Northern Political Consultative Group, Mark unleashed a stark, unvanishing truth that northern Nigeria, he asserted, is the architect of its own deepening insecurity and stagnating development. The air in the room was thick with anticipation, grew heavy as Senator Mark, the keynote speaker, laid bare the region's self-inflicted wounds. His message, delivered under the sobering theme, unity and social cohesion as a panacea for challenges facing northern Nigeria, was a desperate plea for introspection and complete cessation of the blame game. In his words, we must first admit that we are the architects of our problems, Mark declared with an unwavering gaze. We must stop the blame game if we truly and genuinely want to find a lasting solution. Now, frankly speaking, this was no ordinary political speech. It was a desperate cry from the veteran statesman witnessing a decay of a once proud region, painting a harrowed picture of a paradox that defies logic, a region blessed with immense human and natural resources, if you will agree, yet simultaneously shackled by abject poverty, staggering illiteracy rates, and rampant unemployment, not to mention crumbling infrastructure. Now, the very fabric of society, he lamented, is actually torn between widening ethnic and religious divisions, leaving the North as the most impoverished region within Nigeria. Now, the consequences of this self-inflicted negligence, Mark stressed, are catastrophic. Over the last decade, banditry, terrorism, insurgency, and communal clashes have turned the villages into battlegrounds, displacing millions and crippling the economy. The once vibrant communities are now mere shadows of their former selves, haunted by the specter of violence and despair. Now, this descent into chaos, he emphasized, did not materialize overnight. It is a bitter harvest of the years of division, indifference, and crippling lack of decisive action. Now, frankly speaking, these words from the former Senate president were not mere analysis. They were a dire warning, if you will agree. The North, he cautioned, stands at a precipice. Unless its diverse people can transcend their differences and forge a collective vision, the region is condemned to struggle endlessly under the crushing weight of its own fragmentation. Now, according to Mark, the North's myriad woes are not isolated incidents, but a tangled web of self-inflicted wounds, painting a grim picture where insecurity is a ravenous beast devouring the investment, leaving, of course, behind wasteland of deepened poverty. This pervasive poverty, in turn, becomes a fertile breeding ground for crime, a relentless tide of social unrest that threatens to drown the region. Now, compounding this agony is the indicious or insidious poison of political fragmentation, a force that systematically cripples any genuine effort towards meaningful development. Mark meticulously traced this precipitous decline to the systematic erosion of the very values that once served as the bedrock of northern Nigeria's society, which is actually justice, mutual respect, and a shared purpose that once bound its very diverse people together in an unbreakable embrace. These virtues, once vibrant and life giving, have withered, leaving a vacuum which is now filled with discord and division or disdain. Now, in a significant appeal to history, Mark invoked the hallowed memory of Sir Ahmadu Bello, the late Sardauna of Sokoto, whose vision once illuminated the path for the North, imploring current Northern leaders to cast aside their narrow interests and return to the spirit of inclusiveness and selfless public service that so profoundly defined the Sardauna era. Now, according to him, Sardauna did not see Hausa, Fulani, Kanuri, Igala, TV, Idoma, Nupe, Okun, or others. The only citizens he saw were Northerners. He invested in education, agriculture, and infrastructure, not for one group, but for a collective group. Now, Mark asserted his words are more powerful reminders of a time when unity transcended tribal lines. The former Senate president's clarion call extends to the very heart of the political landscape, demanding a radical transformation, advocating for a new political culture firmly anchored on unity, unyielding equity, and profound mutual respect. With an unmistakable tone of condemnation, Mark denounced the cynical exploitation of ethnic and religious differences by politicians, particularly during the cutthroat theater of election. Mark's message cut to the bone. The relentless tide of insecurity, poverty, and division plaguing the North is not an external scourge but a self-inflicted wound. In his words, our security challenges are self-inflicted, like I said earlier. Now, the burden of healing, of stemming this hemorrhage, rests squarely upon the shoulders of the Northerners themselves, if we will agree. This is not merely crisis, it's an existent battle for a soul of a region, a fight that only its people will definitely can win. Now, at the heart of the self-inflicted wound, Mark passionately argued that there's a gaping void of ignorance, painting a vivid, harrowing picture of a society where the neglect of education has become a fatal flaw, a recipe for perpetual insecurity and entrenched poverty. Ignorance actually is the biggest enemy of unity, social cohesion, and development, he proclaimed in his words, urging every pillar of society, schools, churches, mosques, and even the media to rise to the occasion to become bastions of tolerance and understanding. The very fabric of unity, he stressed, is woven from the threads of enlightened minds, not from the darkness of unaddressed illiteracy. Now, beyond intellectual decay, Mark lamented the tragic erosion of traditional community policing structures, once the very bedrock of northern security. Now, these robust village-based vigilance systems, once guardians of peace, have actually crumbled, might we agree, leaving communities exposed and vulnerable. Now, his call was not for just a new invention, but for a desperate revival, a grassroots mobilization that taps into the inherent strength of local communities to reclaim their safety. The solution, he insisted, lies not in distant barracks, but in the collective will and vigilance of every village and every neighborhood. Now, looking at it from my own point, Mark's vision for the North is not one of despair, but audacious hope, a challenging call to forge a new destiny, imploring all Northerners to reach across divides, shake hands in a renewed bond of brotherhood. Now, moving on to other political matters, presidency unleashes blistering counterattacks against Kwankwaso's claims of neglect. Now, at the heart of this tremor is Senator Rabiu Kwankwaso, a formidable voice from the 2023 presidential arena who cast a long dark shadow over the Aso Rock administration. Now, in a constitutional dialogue held in Kano, Kwankwaso, the former governor, and the NNPP presidential candidates unleashed a scathing indictment. They accused President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government of a grave betrayal, deliberately sidelining the northern part of Nigeria in favor of the south. His words cut deep, painting a grim picture of escalating poverty, rampant insecurity, and a landscape of crumbling infrastructure across the vast northern expanse. He even cited a recent arduous and terrible journey from Abuja to Kano, which was forced upon him by a cancelled flight, as a stark personal testament to the region's alleged neglect. It was an accusation designed, as far as I'm concerned, to ignite a firestorm and rally sentiments to challenge the very legitimacy of the government's commitment to national unity. But the silence from the presidency was short-lived as a furious rebuttal erupted, swift and decisive, from the highest echelons of power. Sunday Are, or Sunday Dare, I beg your pardon, President Tinubu's special advisor on media and public communication, wasted no time in unleashing a blistering counterattack, declaring Kwankwaso's remarks as incorrect and misleading. Now, in a dramatic declaration posted on his verified X handle, Dare did not merely refute, he unveiled a powerful, undeniable catalogue of federal commitments to the North, a strategic blueprint of ongoing investments designed to shatter the narrative of neglect. He laid bare a formidable array of critical infrastructure projects, each a testament of the administration's unwavering resolve to uplift the region. Now, this list was extensive, a powerful testament to tangible progress. Dare highlighted monumental and infrastructural initiatives, including the Grand Abuja Kaduna Kano Expressway, a vital artery of commerce and connectivity. He pointed to the expansive Sokoto Badagry Superhighway, a project promising to unlock immense economic potential, further evidencing of commitment which was emerged with the Kano Kongolam Road, the crucial Kaduna Jos Road, and the sweeping Kano Meduguri dual carriageway, all under active development. The infrastructure blitz did not actually end there, as Dare meticulously detailed the administration's relentless pursuit for a modern railway networks, citing the transformation or the transformative Kaduna Kano and Kano Maradi rail lines. Projects poised to revolutionize transportation and trade across the north. Even the capital's arteries were not forgotten, with the ongoing vital rehabilitation of the Abuja Metro signaling a broader commitment to urban renewal. The message from the presidency was unequivocal. The North is not just remembered, it's a priority, a recipient of significant federal investments aimed at fostering prosperity and stability. These dramatic pronouncements, aimed squarely at critics such as the former governor Rabiu Kwankwaso, paints a vivid picture of unprecedented development. Yet, as the official narrative soars, there's a stark different echo which is resounding from the very communities it claims to uplift. Now again, the government spokesperson, Mr. Dare, unfolded a scroll of monumental achievements in the energy sector. He sounded out loud the colossal 614-kilometer Jalkuta Kano Kaduna gas pipeline, a steel serpent poised to deliver energy across the region. He spoke at the Gwagalada power plant, a beacon of progress which and tantalizing whispers of upcoming solar projects in Kaduna State, which is promising a future bathed in light. Now, the agricultural aspect is not actually left out also likewise. It was painted with strokes of grand ambition, where he actually highlighted the $158.15 billion or $1 million agricultural value chain development program, a massive investment now unfolding across 9 northern states, promising a harvest of prosperity. The Kolmani Integrated Development Project, a sprawling venture spanning Bauchi and Gombe states, was also presented as a testament to untapped potential finally being unleashed. Now, furthermore, through the agroclimate resilience in semi-arid landscapes initiatives, the federal government vows to actually reclaim 1 million hectares of degraded land, an almost Herculean task of environmental restoration. Now, of course, healthcare, the very pulse of the nation, was not also excluded of this grand design. The presidency also pointed to significant upgrades at vital institutions, the Ahmadu Bello University Teaching Hospital in Zaria, the University of Jos Teaching Hospital, and the Federal Medical Center in Guru. More profoundly, it declared that over 1,000 primary healthcare centers are currently undergoing revitalization in various northern communities, a grassroots transformation promising health and hope at the very doorstep of the people. Now, adding weight to this official narrative is Dr. Tunji Alausa, the Minister of State for Education. He stepped forward with an unequivocal assertion declaring that President Tinubu's human capital investment is not only substantial, but also meticulously and evenly distributed across the nation. Now, but beneath this gleaming veneer of progress or statesman, there's a harsh reality which is actually persisting. The very earth that the government seeks to restore, whispers of tales of hardship are evident. The communities it vows to serve often feel untouched by the grand pronouncements which I have just outlined. Aminu Bello, a respected community leader from Katsina, articulated this pungent disconnect with a heavy heart. In his own words, a chilling counterpoint to the official fanfare echoed the sentiments of many. That these projects sound impressive, fine, he conceded, a hint of weariness in his voice, but many of us are yet to feel the impact. People are still hungry and insecure. We want to see the benefits, not just hear about these benefits. Now, the stage is set as the presidency champions the narratives which I have outlined of over transformative changes in North on the cusp of a new dawn, yet from the heart of communities, a different truth actually emerges, like I actually outlined from Amadou Bello, a community leader. A desperate yearning also for the tangible, for the promised benefits to transcend the realm of rhetorics and truly touch the lives of those who wait in hope and in despair. Dramatic tension between these two realities hang heavy in the air. Now, lastly, on viewpoints, on a flurry of significant political discourse, the PDP says it's not going to lose sleep over coalition. It is ready to oust Tinubu administration. Now, this is according to its acting national chairman, Umar Damagun. Now, over the weekend, Abuja echoed with an unyielding declaration of the PDP when it convened in its National Executive Committee meeting. From the hallowed halls, a message of defiance and unwavering resolve echoed, serving as a stark warning to those who underestimate the enduring might of Nigeria's premier political force. I to recall it was one of the parties which emerged from the Fourth Republic after the military junta. Now, the acting national chairman, Umar Damagun, stood as a colossus delivering a thunderous address that ripped through the political quietude, affirming PDP's singular readiness to reclaim the nation's destiny and decisively unseat the incumbent administration come 2027. Damagun's pronouncements were not mere political rhetorics, they were a gauntlet thrown down, a testament to the PDP's deep-rooted confidence, painting vividly a picture of a party fundamentally different from its rivals. A party not just with structures, but with the very sinews of national acceptability woven into its fabric. He spoke also of fleeting promises, but of concrete nation building, a foundation capable of bearing the immense weight of a demanding future. The PDP, he asserted, stands alone, poised and prepared as the only true vehicle for Nigeria's redemption. But the chairman's address was not solely of self-congratulations. It was a powerful rebuttal, a dramatic dismissal of the recent political theatrics unfolding on the national stage. With a measured yet potent disdain, Damagun turned his gaze towards the much-touted new coalition, a fleeting alliance that had dared to adopt the African Democratic Congress as its ephemeral platform. I must address the matter of a so-called coalition recently formed, which includes some defecting members of our party. These are according to Damagun. His voice cutting through a lingering doubt on this issue, which he is actually pleased to report that the political experiment is nothing to sleep over, like I began by saying. Now, might we say his dismissal was palpable as he invoked an ancient truth where, proverbially speaking, whispered through generations. They say a bird in hand is worth two in the bush. The grand illusion of this coalition, he revealed, was already crumbling under the weight of its own ill-conceived ambition. Many who had impulsively leaped into the bandwagon of the ADC, seduced by its ephemeral promise, have already made their ignorance return to the PDP fold. Some, in a desperate attempt to save face, even claim they never truly departed, merely attending a meeting. Now, their confessions, he stated, were accepted without prejudice, a magnanimous gesture that underscored the PDP's unshakable dominance. But the reversal, Damagun revealed, was not confined to the PDP's ranks alone. Individuals from other political parties initially drawn into the coalition's orbit by a misguided sense of opportunity are swiftly awakened to the venture's inherent futility. Their rapid retreats, the hurried flight from the sinking ship, this serves as irrefutable proof of the coalition's ill-fated destiny. Now, the dramatic return of these disillusioned souls or party members paints a stark picture and which is the so-called coalition, rather than a formidable challenge, is nothing more than a fleeting mirage, a political experiment deemed or doomed to collapse. Now, the resilience of the PDP, he emphasized, is not merely a slogan, but a lived reality. The governors he revealed are navigating a labyrinth of challenges mirroring the struggles faced with the NWC, the National Working Committee. The message from Abuja is actually clear, unequivocal, and delivered with the force of a thunderclap. The PDP is not merely ready, it is an unstoppable force, might we agree, if they have chosen not to back down. Now we've tracked the political temperature from north to center, where former Senate President David Mark boldly declared the North is an architect of its own problems. Meanwhile, the presidency firing back at Rabiu Kwankwaso, insisting that the North is in fact benefiting under the Tinubu's administration. And in the red corner, we have the PDP through the acting national chairman Umar Damagun saying it is not losing sleep over any coalition and is, in their own words, ready to oust Tinubu. The debate continues, and as always, the narrative never stops. Having your host for Viewpoints, where we discover perspectives and embrace dialogue. Our AI. Thanks for watching.